specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99 plus $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power you need to make summer projects easier than ever. Right now at the Home Depot.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Here comes the Thunder. Tonight, it's Game 3 of 4 as the Atlanta Braves stop at Citi Field to play the New York Mets.
All B's with a bullet out towards left field. There's a base hit.
And we've got coverage coming up at 6. First pitch at 6:10 right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Possible thunderstorms and some sun the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour out of the west-southwest, and look for it to be 91. Tonight, there will be a mixture of partly cloudy skies and possible thunderstorms with a temperature reaching 78. Numerous thunderstorms and light sprinkles tomorrow with a high of 87. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
What time is it?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are live, we are loud, we are local, but we are not the Mets. We are the Atlanta Braves, and they got a big win last night. I was going to say, with live, loud, local, that's 3 L's, but for this series, it's just 2 L's for the Mets. But if we go back to just last week, That was the Triple L. We're in the CBC Construction Studios. You can visit their website, cbcconstruction.com. You can also call them at 850-747-3815. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. Like and share that Facebook feed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then go to your phone, download the app. Just go to your Apple Store or your Google Play Store, type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Banji Bomadella. He's your local sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. And we also have Caveman Rick. No AG, no Morgan this afternoon. It'll be me and Caveman Rick for hour number 2. We'll be talking a little bit about some NFL win totals. We'll chat. This is all hour 2 because all hour 1 is about our guy, Banji Bomadella. But hour number 2, we're going to be chatting with we're going to be chatting about the NFL win totals. We'll have Chris Gollin on talking about some of the Major League Baseball storylines. And then at 5:40, we'll take a look at some teams that possibly could rise or fall in the second half of the Major League Baseball season. The Red 7 Tees phone line is open. They are the brand that brands you, and we encourage you to call us at 850-215-6290. Our text-in question of the day: who's the most iconic cartoon character of all time? Not sports related at all. Everyone can answer it. 850-215-6290. Who is the most iconic cartoon character of all time? Back to those Atlanta Braves who will be on our air tonight. Coverage starting at 6 o'clock. First pitch tonight at 6:10. Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida is brought to you locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and by Hometown Towing. 7-4 was the score for the Braves last night. Matt Olson with 3 ribbies. He had that tie-breaking single in the 5-run 6th inning, and a big RBI as well. I believe, no, the 2 RBIs was earlier in the game. Then he had the 8th inning hit there, and that kind of blew it open a little bit there for the Atlanta Braves. 5 runs in the 6th, 2 runs in the 8th. Strider pitching last night. He lost his first 5 starts this year after coming back from the elbow surgery last year, but has beaten the Mets consecutive times in 6 days, striking out 8 last night in 5 innings, only giving up 2 hits. One interesting tidbit was the heat over there in New York last night for the Mets game. The game time temperature was the hottest for a Mets home game since it was 98 degrees against Milwaukee at Shea Stadium back in 2001 in August. So here we are in June, and I believe it was 97 degrees last night for them. Ronald Acuna Jr., who had 3 strikeouts last night, has reached base, though, multiple times in 14 straight games. Per Sport Radar, he is the 4th Braves player to ever do this, and the first since Deion Sanders did it back in 1994. The Braves have Didier Fuentes on the mound tonight. He is 20 years old, 0-1. ERA is a little high at 7.20. The whip's at 1.4. He's only got 3 strikeouts, but again, we're only talking about, 5 innings pitched. He might have gotten 6 innings, but it was 5 to 6.
This last week.
Yeah, Clay Holmes, 7-4. His ERA at 3.04. The whip at 1.23. 73 strikeouts on the year, but he had a bad start against the Braves last time and walked a lot of batters as well. So hopefully the Braves come in tonight with a patient eye. And I can hear on this old tin roof that it is raining pretty good out there. So that makes me remind you guys to rely on ESPN Northwest Florida. Right now, I guess I'm being your meteorologist telling you it's raining. I don't know how hard, but it sounds pretty hard. But rely on us here at ESPN Northwest Florida for up-to-the-minute and breaking weather. For the most reliable weather, it's 104.3. Get the app available on your iPhones and your Android thanks to Mid-South Lumber, Ellis Agency Insurance, and Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Caveman Rick, I don't know if you saw, well, Banji, to take away from next segment, we'll use it here. What's been your thoughts on the Atlanta Braves?
Well, it's an exciting time because I'm a numbers guy, and we were 10 games under 500 at one point. Now we're slowly chipping it away. The fact that I was a little upset last week with the Marlins series because I was just like,
that ticked me off.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, y'all suck.
But then the Nationals are free falling, so that's great. So now it's Nationals, Marlins, then us. Then the Mets. The Mets better be careful. They better not let us back in it, because then if we could really get a wild card spot if we just keep on the pace that we're going. But I like how Strider had words for Soto.
Yeah,
that was beautiful to see. Because I'm not. I used to be a Juan Soto fan, but I don't know. It's the way, the moxie he has, the way he operates. But the Braves right now, we're looking great right now.
There we go, man.
We don't suck anymore. we're back to good old Braves baseball.
Hey, there you go. And only 4 games under 500, which is dangerous. That I feel like anytime this year that I've hyped them up, the following couple of days is not good. And then when I'm like, all right, we need them to do this or whatever, then they don't do that. But whenever they get a couple of wins, and I'm like, yes, this is the Braves we've been looking for. And they're like, you know what we're going to do for you? We're going to lose 2 games to the Marlins.
Man, it was disappointing.
Yeah, we shall see. They've got 2 more games against the Mets today and tomorrow. And then they'll have a 3-game set with the Phillies this weekend. And the Phillies last night losing to the Astros, only 1-0. It was a pitcher's duel last night. The home run? It wasn't Luzardo, Suarez.
Yes,
Ranger Suarez pitched to him.
Yeah, 1 home run. So I mean, dude should have won the game. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So that also helps the Mets out a little bit by keeping them close with the Phillies. What, game and a half?
No, it was a game and a half. I think going into yesterday. So I think it's only half a game now.
Ooh.
So, but still.
But the Mets lost as well. Both teams lost.
Oh, they lost. Okay,
so it would be.
So it's still 1.5.
Yeah. In other news in the world of baseball, White Sox, they had a 22-year-old fan indefinitely banned from Rate Field. I believe maybe all Major League Baseball stadiums.
Yeah,
I'm not sure because, with facial recognition now, the fan was remorseful for his actions. I've read 3 or 4 articles on this and haven't found the young man's name, which 22 years old, you would think that it comes along with that. But I also like the aspect of it, or the fact that he's not getting any notoriety from this. And if he feels bad, I hate it for him. But there's lines. I guess not hate it for him.
There's some lines you don't cross, though.
Right, that's where I was headed to. Is not that I hate it for him, but I mean, 22 years old. Your brain isn't fully developed.
Might have a couple beers in you. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's no excuse for it.
Exactly.
That's the issue with it, caveman.
I was just gonna say, I guess what they're doing, but so now where's the line of demarcation on what you can say and what you can't say to get yourself ejected? You know what I'm saying? It's a kind of a slippery slope. You're setting a precedent, and something that you might be able to not be able to have like a black and white on. You know what I'm saying? Every case has got to be individual, and that just kind of leaves it open to stuff happen that might not be the most tasteful, or might not be the best. That might not be the best word for it, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess maybe you. First off, I think as a fan, you should limit your trash talk to the player on the field
itself. Yeah, the player themselves.
And then don't bring their family into it, because how many times back in the day when we were young kids and your mama jokes and stuff like that, and you don't know. When you know what I'm saying? There might be a new kid at the lunch table or whatever, and you don't know his past. You know what I mean? And you might not ever know, because you might not become friends because you say that joke, and in your eyes it was humor. You know what I'm saying? But there still is that, yes, it's funny if no one's been through that before. But then there's that line of what's funny, what's not funny to each. So my thing is leave the family, the personal side of it out.
We know that's not going to happen.
My thing is, I thought it was just a general rule of thumb: never speak ill of the dead. So you could say anything about it.
But did the 22-year-old, did this fan in this case know about the Ketel Marte's mom situation? Because if so, then that's even more so wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Because I agree on that with you, never speak ill of the dead. But I think there are some people who have passed on that You know, they might have bought the opportunity.
Yeah,
you know, there's one guy over there from Germany. Like maybe, you know, if you say a couple of bad things about him, I might not be the most upset. But you know, that's neither here nor there.
Situational.
Situational. So. With Ketel Marte's mom, she died in a car accident in the Dominican Republic back in 2017, and you just saw him break down in tears. And it's so wild because last night I'm watching the video of this, and then you've got the fans in the comment section speculating. And there was a couple of fans who speculated this. There was others who were like, "Well, his buddy Jazz Chisholm up there with the Yankees just got ejected, so he was crying about that." You know what I'm saying? But and then I wake up to the score report in ESPN. That's actually, and there was a couple of people in the comments who had it pegged, so that was kind of pretty cool to have a sneaking suspicion that might be right without trusting the source from the Facebook comments. But yeah, I hate that for Ketel Marte though, because if anyone has ever dealt with grief, you're not even mad at the other person because you cannot control their mind. You know what I'm saying? And they are not, most of the times I would say that it's not intentional for other people to stab that deep.
Yeah.
But it could be something that's fleeting. Like my brother passed away last November, right? Daily, there's one little thing that pops out, or a picture that you see, or a word that someone says, or I remember watching that game with him or whatever. And it comes to the surface. Yeah. You know? So I hate that for Ketel Marte, and it's just a bad situation. Kudos to the White Sox, though. Today, Ketel Marte's first at bat, they put up on the scoreboard, basically being in support of Ketel Marte, like White Sox fans standing with Ketel Marte, baseball fans unite type deal. So I thought that was really cool of them. Also, going into a different sport here, WNBA. I had $6 left in the Hard Rock account last night because I put in like $20 before the NBA Finals and it didn't do anything with that. So I had like $6 left, and I was like, I'm going to take a break till college football season in the NFL for gambling unless I hit this. And it's Caitlin Clark. It was Fever to beat the Storm. They were plus 135, and then it was Caitlin Clark to score 19.5 points, have over 8.5 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. She only had 2 rebounds. She only had 6 points.
Yeah, she's been in a big slump.
Do you think it's her injury or anything? So my bad, Caitlin Clark. I think that's on me that I messed you up last night. But why do you think it is that she's in a slump? I don't know if you've been keeping up with it.
I actually really much because big Atlanta Dream fan. And
all right, cool.
Very well this year. I just think, the injury, because also WNBA is real physical. Yeah. Physical.
It's a lot more physical than people give it credit for, and I was noticing that.
And they allow more physicality, especially, and I think, she's, anytime a player comes back from injury, it takes some time. So, because she was out for a little bit. She was out for about 4 or 5
weeks. Yeah, and they play a lot of games in a week sometimes.
Exactly. So, I think it's just that. But, with a shooter like that, they come with their ups and they come with their downs. We've seen Steph Curry have slumps. We've seen a lot of, shooters have slumps. But, I just want to take a moment to shout out the Atlanta Dream. Alicia Gray is balling over there. She should be in the MVP discussion. It's just my opinion, but, just wanted to say that.
Who is in the MVP discussion? Because isn't Asia Wilson kind of having like a little bit of a...
Well, she had a concussion, so she was out also for a little bit. They showed like a video of her and Bam were chilling in the press box or something just while they were watching the Aces. But Nafisa Collier over there for the Lynx, Minnesota Lynx.
Yes.
Alicia Gray with the Atlanta Dream. I would also say, because then I guess anybody else from the Liberty, you can go with Sabrina Ionescu. You can go.
But that's almost like picking. Well, we do it anyway. Shohei Ohtani or Freddie Freeman or Mookie Betts from the Dodgers, right?
But when you have like a good record like they do, like they started out the season, I believe 9-0. Yeah. It wasn't until Caitlin Clark actually beat them when she came back. So I mean. I think those three, especially. But here's the thing: what I don't like about the WNBA with their All-Star voting. I see 4 Indiana Fever athletes there, and I'm just like,
and they're what, 6-6, 7-6?
They're not even a top 5 team in this league. So
7-7 is what they are. Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing here? But I think it's just Indiana Caitlin Clark has so much pull. Is what it shows. So
are they doing her a disservice, not the WNBA. Well, maybe they are fumbling this bag, if you will, but more so the Fever, right? So they bring in Stephanie White, the head coach. Then you have DeWanna Bonner.
Yeah.
Come in, right? And she's a little bit up there in age, but that was the whole point. 37, 38 years old, but that was the whole point, is to bring in veterans to help this team kind of grow, but then it doesn't work. Now there's rumors that DeWanna Bonner wanted to go play with her fiance at one of the other teams.
Phoenix Mercury.
Mercury, yeah. And I haven't seen that in a lot of the bigger source articles. That's more on like some of those ones that you'll find that's like, Deadspin.com or something like that. So I don't know to what truth that is, but we do know that her fiance plays for another team.
Yeah.
But what do you make of that situation? Because it's been one of the bigger headlines in the WNBA, DeWanna Bonner, and today they finally waived her. So she and $200,000, bro.
Yeah. I'm actually, I didn't think she wanted to be there in the first place though, because the Connecticut Sun were actually like, they were doing like a fire sale. They were trading everybody. They traded her. They traded her fiance over there to Phoenix. They traded Dejanay Carrington over there to Dallas. Like they were just trading everybody, which it made me think like, are they just starting from scratch? But with the WNBA, and it's so odd to me, right? So they could have 2 first-round draft picks, but then we see before the season even starts, they might cut them. Yeah. And you're just like, well, then what do you have with your roster? Because it begs the question, are you trying to win? But that's neither here nor there. But DeWanna Bonner, she's a solid veteran. She's like been around the block. I think they wanted her to, be that veteran figure, but it just didn't work out, and it kind of got toxic in the locker room. And I mean, I'm hearing a lot of things. I hear like rumors about Aaliyah Boston being toxic in there, but then again, it's like if you have Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston's your number 2. It's like you have to. It seems like it's their team kind of thing, and when you're trying to add a veteran into something that's the younger people's team, you kind of don't rock with it. And it seemed like she wasn't trying to be a part of the team anymore, so they just decided to waive her.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then if you're Caitlin Clark and the Fever, you got to be really excited about what Aaliyah Boston did last night. Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull with 31, 26, and 15, whereas your number 1 is only scoring 6. So that's we're here in the summertime where it's baseball and WNBA, baby.
Yes,
so we're gonna definitely bring out the WNBA weekly when we got Banji on over this way. How about this? This is a theory. I don't think it would ever stick, but we talk about the NBA draft and the lottery. I think that's the coolest part of the entire draft, right? I've watched more lotteries than I have
actual drafts.
Same. And it's insane that y'all got a 2-rounder, and I'm talking to the NBA here, that y'all have 2 rounds on 2 days. Like, come on, bro. We don't even know anyone past the first 10 for the most part anyways. But what about this? And again, this will never happen, just a theory. Instead of doing the lottery to get the picks, why not put the guys' faces on all the ping pong balls?
What, a team just picks?
And you just get whoever just falls in your lap. That could be interesting for the NBA. I know that is stupid, but it's a theory.
Like a real draft works. Like, like for the military or whatever, your name just gets thrown in the basket, and when that number comes out, dude, you're there. Whichever branch too.
There would be so many ping pong balls for like so many players, right? So if you're like Cooper Flagg, there's like 4.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't get? Oh, that's what you're talking about. You have multiple Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
In there. Okay.
Yeah, so it would be his face on the ping pong ball, and then like for Dylan Harper, who's next, he'd have 8 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then you go.
It's just their name,
but you would have to separate it to where the teams who were lottery, like were going to be in the lottery, are the only teams who are available for.
I was gonna say, imagine if Cooper Flagg ends up the 15th overall pick or
to
something.
the Lakers of all places.
Then you would have to like be speculating about like kind of collusion or something, shenanigans going on, like the frozen envelope.
Yeah, exactly. I would take you right back there to the good old Patrick Ewing days. Man, the rain is coming down, and it is time for us to take a break. Hey, you guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I was born and raised a Razorback fan. I guess that curse is real, Paul.
That's the hard part of this, is that guy's going to catch that 19 out of 20 times. Arkansas did everything it could to win the game and then managed to have this jinx come and suck the life out of them.
Paul
Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida. Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Possible thunderstorms and some sun the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour out of the west-southwest, and look for it to be 91. Tonight, there will be a mixture of partly cloudy skies and possible thunderstorms with a temperature reaching 78. Numerous thunderstorms and light sprinkles tomorrow with a high of 87. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Whether you're an experienced investor or first-time buyer, Beach House will provide you with top-notch service to guide you through every step of the process. We make the real estate process fun and easy through effective marketing, strategic advertising, and always a client-focused experience. From single-family homes to full-scale developments, Beach House Sales Development has you covered. Check them out at beachhousesalesfl.com or give them a call at 850-919-3500.
Every game matters, so don't miss a moment this summer as the Braves try to battle back in the standings.
Acuna swings, gets into it, deep center, to the wall, streaking out of here. Two-run home run, Ronald Acuna, first pitch.
Tonight, the division battle rolls on from Citi Field in New York as Drake Baldwin and the Braves take on Pete Alonso and the New York Mets.
Braves coverage begins at 6 after the afternoon underdogs. First pitch 6:10. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. From the diamond to the end zone. From the studio to the sideline. We're the destination for sports on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the afternoon underdogs.
Welcome back into the Doghouse. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got Caveman Rick, Banji Bombadella, who is with the Panama City News Herald, keeping you guys updated on all things Bay County high school sports and really beyond as well. He's got some things he's excited to be sharing, but not today. Not today. Just make sure that you keep your eye on that paper. As we get closer to the high school football season, we are going to be doing previews starting July 16th here on Wednesdays. We'll be doing North Bay Haven, Rutherford, Arnold, Bay, Mosley. Lord willing, it'll work out that way. But I think also on those same days, I want to bring the coaches either in or have them on the phone. So I'll try to reach out to the coaches. Maybe me and you can coordinate it and try to get them to where the days will work out for them. But that is coming up sooner than you know it, man. And I know you're excited about high school football this year. I'm excited about it, so can't wait for it. We already talked a little bit about the Atlanta Braves. Now, let's talk about where you and not that you were wrong at all. The Braves were sucking, no doubt. But I got to give you credit, even though it was you and the rest of the world thinking this. But the Thunder did take care of business, winning the Larry O'Brien Trophy, NBA Finals MVP. I mean, SGA just collecting all the awards. I loved his speech whenever he's talking about him and J-Dub, you know, and like without that, it doesn't happen. But shoot, without the rest of the squad. I mean, Lou Dort was so big in that series. Mark Dagnall coached his tail off. Just a great win. What were some of your takeaways from the finals?
Well,
our finals.
You know, I think about 3 weeks ago when you asked me when the series began, and I said it would take an act of God for the Pacers to win, and you know, God works in mysterious ways, and you know, I think he decided the series in a way, but yeah, my takeaway is Shea had an unbelievable season. It's probably one of those seasons that will go down in history as like, you know, when you think about MVP, Finals MVP, scoring champion, Western Conference Finals MVP, like, yes, right. But it's so weird to me, right, that after all that, everyone in the world would still have Jokic number one over him, though.
Yeah.
It's like, what more does he have to do?
You know what's so weird, too, is a lot of people point out two things I'll say with SGA. Is the free throw line, which me and you agree on this. That's your job to get to the line, however, whatever it takes. You know, hey, look, yeah, as a Pacers fan, did he push off sometimes? Sure.
Yeah.
Did some of our guys hand check sometimes? Yeah. Like, you try to do what you can to get away with things.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing is that, which I am so appreciative of, is the fact that it's a mid-range game and it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not high-flying, you know, driving to the lane, which he's able to do, or shooting lights out from the three. Which, again,
he can do.
He can do. Yeah. But it works out so well, you know, the fact that he just... there's a reason why the Thunder just won the NBA championship, right? Because that's what their game plan was. Look, and Jokic took them to Game 7, you know? But you don't get as much complaints about Jokic. Well, I mean, I think it's just because of the size of Jokic and everyone watching him's like, he looks like he should be playing. Yes, he looks like he should be playing in the Y, but he's, you know, one of the better players.
Double, though.
Yeah, it's a walking triple-double.
I think that's it for him. It's the fact that it's so big, but yet he can still get the double-digit points, double-digit rebounds, double-digit assists that you're just like, there's just nobody better.
And they said the 90s was the era of plumbers. Come on now. So I think that's interesting. But if you were to ask me who and this isn't recency bias, I think if you were to ask me this question in the middle of the year, again, I'm someone who I'm not. It goes right back to the NFL. We talked about this yesterday with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I wouldn't have been surprised had they given the MVP to Lamar Jackson because the numbers were there. But also, Josh Allen, you know, has been up there and never gotten the award. So I can understand them. So it's the same in the NBA where if they would have given it to Jokic, I would have been like, all right. But SGA, of course, deserved and earned that honor as well.
Yeah, those situations happen where I feel like it's one of those where that might be the only time they get it.
Yeah.
Similar to like Embiid.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I think that's the only time he's ever going to get that MVP. So I can understand, like, with Josh Allen, that might be the only time because I don't think, unless he just repeats that. But then against like Lamar, still put up numbers that were like still crazy.
How do you get that much better year in and year out? And people still have the audacity to call you a running back, which I think some people say it tongue-in-cheek, purposefully funny, you know, but then there's other people who's like, who can't throw, and I'm like, you haven't read you haven't been to Pro Football Reference in a while, have you? You know?
His career rushing yards, though, is insane. Like, he leads, like, the running backs he leads over, right?
How? Yeah. In what world does that make sense? That you're, I mean, maybe a third string running back, you know,
but like these are like Pro Bowl running backs. He has more rushing yards than it. It's crazy. Yeah. The whole MVP thing, and that one's difficult too, though, because it's like, are we valuing wins? Because it's like, how many wins did the Thunder get? Was it 58 or
65?
60 something, right? Yeah. So I can get that, but also like,
maybe 64.
I hate when people just don't look, like, your eyes are telling you a different story, though. Like, I might be a minority on this, but, like, I'm in the camp of, like, Giannis, to me, is still the best player in the world because nobody can stop him do what he does.
68 and 14, by the way. Which I don't remember what the Nuggets were, but, they were far behind. What were they as a seed? 2, right?
No.
That was the Rockets. The Rockets were the 2 seed. So the Thunder,
they might have been like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, they might have been. Yeah, yes, they were
because they had to play the Clippers.
They would have been had to have been a 5 or a 6 seed.
Yeah, because I think they had to play the Clippers first, and then they played the Clippers first, then they played the Thunder. And
they were the 4 seed. Yeah. Okay, so right there, but they, you know, they had a great season. But middle of the season, if you were to ask me which player I would want to build my team around, I think a lot of people would pick Jokic, and I'd have no issue with that. But for me, I love the fact that SGA is so good at the mid-range game, and it's such a beautiful thing seeing him back down and then seeing that fade away. Was it beautiful for 7 games? No,
not at all.
It hurts. Well, no. I mean, there was some times. Are you saying that his shot wasn't as on point as what you've been used to seeing it?
Not even just that, but like just the way he does it, it's like I don't care how you get that 30, but the way you get that 30, yeah. But I mean, his mid range, it's beautiful to see, but a whole 7-game series of it though, nah.
Yeah,
really.
well, but also throughout that 7-game series, there's a lot of times I'm like, how do you continue to make those? Now in Game 7, the shooting percentage wasn't all that high for him, but he finds a way to get to the line. He finds a way to
when the
score.
star of the other team, is out. I mean, it's kind of not too difficult, I'd imagine.
So we're looking at we've seen 3 huge Achilles injuries here in the playoffs with Dame Lillard, with Jason Tatum, with Tyrese Halliburton being the latest. All 3 of those being Achilles tears or ruptures. Tears, all of them, right? Complete tears?
Yeah.
All of those guys going to be missing the entire year. The Bucks have too many question marks on because that wasn't their best player, right? The Bucks, Dame Lillard, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, but they have to answer that question on trade, whatever happens with him. The Pacers and the Celtics, though, they lost their number 1 guy, and so whose road ahead is tougher? Pacers, and we've already seen the Celtics now. Drew Holiday to Portland.
Yeah, to Portland, yeah.
Right? They get Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks, I believe. Yeah. And then you see Kristaps Porzingis, which we're going to talk about next for your Atlanta Hawks. But whose road ahead do you think is tougher?
I think it's the Celtics because, I mean, we've seen it without Halliburton. Y'all were still competing with the Thunder in that Game 7. But also, your team is more of a collective, cohesive.
Right.
Yeah, Halliburton's the star, Siakam, number 2, Miles Turner. But as a collective, y'all work better as a collective. You could also say the same thing about the Celtics. But with the trade of Drew Holiday and Porzingis now gone, I'm like, who's going to step up and be those guys? Because it looks like Jaylen Brown might still be on the out, too. So now I'm just like, who is the guy over there now for the Celtics?
Al Horford.
If you're relying on 40-year-old Al Horford, God help you, because no. But, I don't know, because the Celtics are the bigger question mark, I think, than even Milwaukee. They have a big question mark. Yeah, because
that's sensible,
Giannis, I hate, Giannis, I feel like does this every offseason now, where it's like, am I going to go? Am I going to stay? Like, he's going to stay.
Yeah.
He seems to die hard for Milwaukee. But, the Celtics, who's untouchable over there now? Besides Tatum, because Tatum's going to be out. But
right. Because you could see them. Now, is there a world where you could see them getting rid of Brown and White?
Nah, because what else do you have?
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
who are you getting in return? Because they act like Jaylen Brown's bad or something. Like, Jaylen Brown's a good player.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't understand. And they just won a championship, 2 years ago?
Yeah, they won last year.
I don't get what's the rush to
break it down.
To break it up.
Yeah. I guess that was my thing when I'm first seeing all of this. And maybe, all right, so maybe you don't look at 2026 as making a contending run. But I feel like y'all have enough in the arsenal.
Y'all can still make the playoffs.
Make the playoffs. Like, at the end of the day, see, here's my thing. All right, I'm a fan of the Pacers. We're about to go through this same type situation with Tyrese Halliburton. I don't want to see my team tank to try to get better when he comes back.
Exactly.
No, but I think it is a little bit different for the Pacers and the Celtics. However, even more so to the side of winning for the Celtics. Y'all, those fans aren't used to just being
middle of the road, being a Hornets fan. They're not used to that. They're not used to being a Wizards fan.
Right, being a Pacers fan even.
There you go.
Come on, it was 25 years in between finals appearances, and it's the same daggum result,
Yeah.
But, great season. I mean, I've watched more of that NBA Finals. I watched every single second of it outside of a couple of, seconds going into the third quarter, and it just reinvigorated my love for the game. Not just because the Pacers were in a huge role, of course, absolutely, but because of the basketball that was being played. It was just back and forth. It was fun, and there was defense still. Way too many turnovers on behalf of the Pacers, but it was just fun basketball to watch. The biggest trade so far. Well, let's talk about while we're on the subject of the Celtics, and they sent Porzingis to your Atlanta Hawks. So you got Trae Young over there. Tell us how you feel about the Kristaps Porzingis move to the Hawksters.
I think it makes us contenders, honestly.
Ooh,
as long as he's healthy. I mean, thinking about Trae Young, Jalen Johnson will be back from injury. And then we got Zach Richeche. And then
that's a second overall pick from last year? Oh, first overall pick.
We had the first, and we chose a Frenchman that nobody knew about, but he's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
Dyson Daniels, who is a revelation, I think he had the most steals in NBA history, a single season steals, and he won most improved player. He really should have won DPOY, but we have a squad now. Granted, it is just one player, but we also kept our other first-round picks. So we have, I think, the 18th pick in the draft tonight. So I'm real excited. Like, we have a big that isn't just Onyeka Okongwu. We actually, Clint Capella, we could ship him off somewhere. It's looking good. I'm actually, proud to say I'm a Hawks fan.
Yeah.
Before, during that series, I was hating on y'all because I'm a Hawks fan. I'll never root for the Pacers. Never, ever. So... But now it's it's looking up. Granted, I'm still one of those where it's do we trade Trey? Do we keep Trey? What's our direction? But now it's looking like we have a direction. We're still building around Trey. We're still building around Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels. We have the pieces. I'm excited. Who knows what could happen? I'm excited to see who we draft tonight, and it's going to be good.
Ooh, now this is 24, so I don't know what Clint Capella, but Clint Capella was making $22.5 million last year. That's that's something. Then I look at how are you feeling about Karis LeVert? Is he still injury prone?
Yeah.
I hate that for him because he's got the talent, but
but that's the thing. When those trades happened, we traded Bogey away. We got LeVert and we got Terrence Mann. I was just like, these aren't needle movers. These aren't needle pushers. These aren't guys who, once they traded for them, I was just like, are we trying to win? Because are we trying to make any playoff push or anything? But it's a nice piece to have. I hated that we traded DeAndre Hunter, but we had to. But it's going to be a good time to be a Hawks. I truly believe we're contenders now, especially with the East, where we don't know what's going to happen.
Is there even a star player in the East left right now?
People are going to say Brunson, but
Jalen Brunson's probably the
Knicks.
best player.
This is the best shot for the Knicks coming up this next year.
Maybe it was beneficial for them to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Look, firing their coach. If they kept Thibodeau, maybe they actually I would be put them into the finals next year, but. I don't know what to expect of the 76ers next year.
Who's a surprise team for you? Now, we can keep the Hawks in that category that they could be a surprise team, but who's someone else that maybe has a Pacers-type run? That deep to the finals, we're not going to say, but maybe gets to the Eastern Conference Finals in a very weak year for the Eastern Conference on paper going into it.
Surprise team.
Because I guess the reason I ask is maybe could it be the Magic? Does the Desmond Bane move?
Desmond Bane is not a needle mover at all. But they have a very good squad though.
Right.
I think even without Desmond Bane, they still would have been fine because Paolo, Franz Wagner, you have Jalen Suggs will be back.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah,
I mean they have a lot of good pieces too. They are Spurs light.
Okay.
Spurs light. Not Spurs light. Pacers light.
Oh, Pacers light. Okay, I was going to say, where's the Wemby at? Would that be Paolo? I like that, though. I like that comparison because I do think that they're kind of following that blueprint as well. So
that Desmond Bane trade
it didn't do it for you?
No, it just didn't at all. Trading KCP, I get that. Trading Cole Anthony, but they have so many guards over there. That one bigger. Is okay, but I just don't Desmond Bane. Is he that guy to be a third option?
When I had to go, so where does he fall? Memphis last year, where Ja Morant won.
Ja won. Triple J. Jaren Jackson. Then Bane?
So he's essentially going from third
option to third option.
Yeah, but it's not.
You don't trade 4 first-round picks.
That's that's I guess my question mark is: do you feel like you've already done what you need to do through the draft, and now it's just about putting the right players in the right places? It could. Who knows? And you still got tonight's draft, but do they even have any?
I don't know if they have.
I don't know either. KD, talk about a haul. Talk about a haul. KD.
I said the Rockets.
You did say the Rockets, and yes, you did. You and you picked them, and Do you think they get who'd they give up? They gave up Jalen
Green and Dylan Brooks.
Do you think that was too much? But then you talk about the Hall of draft picks as well,
yeah.
which the first round pick, 10th pick, and then 5 second-round picks,
something like that.
Yeah. So who won the trade? Rockets or the Suns?
Oh, it's the Rockets.
Really?
Anytime you add, but here's it's gonna make me sound like a hypocrite for last week, but adding KD, think about it from the team's perspective. Adding KD to the Rockets, that makes them better.
Mm-hmm.
Adding Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks to the Suns, when you want to get rid of Bradley Beal, but you're stuck with him, and all you have is Devin Booker, it's like, which team got better? Rockets by a huge margin. Yes, the picks can help, but second-round picks, unless you're getting Jokic 4 or 5 times, you're not going to really move the needle. I think the Suns don't even make it to the play-in.
Oh, okay. I see where you're coming. To me, it just, I'm fine with saying that the Rockets got better.
Mm-hmm.
And even that the Suns, if one team got better, then the other team had to get worse. So that's just how that plays out. It just feels like the Rockets are doing the same exact thing that the Suns did, though.
Nah, they got a better core.
Okay.
Because that's what Phoenix messed up, I believe. When they traded for KD, they traded Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
That
so you don't feel like Green was
Dylan Brooks, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks on your team doesn't make you better, I don't think. He's like a Pat Bev, where it's like, you're glad you have him because of the defense, but offensively, they don't really provide that much. But I think them keeping the core, like the Reed Shepard, the Amen Thompson.
Yeah, that was huge.
Keeping him huge. Fred
Sengun,
VanVleet, Sengun.
Yeah.
They didn't have to give up much. While when the Suns traded for KD, they had to give up Mikal Bridges, they had to give up a bunch of guys. Because I think other guys went to other teams.
Service in Tallahassee has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Northern Bay County in Florida, Walton County in Florida, Southern Holmes County in Florida, Washington County in Florida until 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 4:40 p.m. Central Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 9 miles southeast of Vernon to 12 miles southwest of Panama City Beach, moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, expects damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Panama City Beach, Vernon, Chipley, Santa Rosa Beach, Defuniak Springs, Bonifay, Eglin Air Force Base, Bradford, Live Oak, Freeport, Ponce de Leon, Caryville, Wausau, Westville, Ebro, Whitehead Crossroads, Villa Tasso, Golf Resort Beach, Blue Mountain Beach, and Seaside. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of the building. To report severe weather, contact your nearest law enforcement agency. They will send your report to the National Weather Service office in Tallahassee. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties in Florida: Bay, Holmes, Walton, and Washington.
Healthy or not, when he is healthy, does that help Cooper Flag grow, having a guy like Anthony Davis ahead of him?
That's what I wonder what the Mavericks are going to do with rotation-wise, because having Lively, Gafford, AD, and Cooper Flag, 4 guys, 4 bigs essentially. How are you going to do that rotation? Will Cooper Flag move more to a small forward role? What? I'm just real interested. That starting lineup could be deadly. If Cooper Flag is what we think he can be, the Mavericks, they're going to be top 4, I believe, in the West too.
Oh, so give me your top 4 then, because we've got 2 of them. Do the Thunder?
The Thunder are going to be back up.
So then, who's that 4th team? Because we're talking about 2 with the Rockets and the Mavericks. Well, I'm not going to call the Mavericks young.
No.
The Rockets are young.
The Rockets are young, yeah.
But so is the Thunder.
Yeah.
So, Thunder, Rockets, Mavericks. Who comes in to I mean, and in the West, bro.
That's
in
the hard
West.
part, right?
Because Golden State, probably not, right?
No. Golden State and Lakers, no.
Oh, no Lakers for sure. Okay.
Man.
Hey, I'm on the same page, bro. Same page.
I would say, because then it's like, do you want to rule out a Denver? Where it's like Denver's always up there.
Yeah.
But then you also have Clippers who are like always consistently mid. They're always at the 5-6
Can we get like
range.
65 games of Kawhi Leonard playing this year?
I've given up on Kawhi so long ago that, hey, Clippers fans, y'all know what it is. Y'all got rid of Paul George and thought, oh, we're going to get Kawhi consistently. Nope. I bet Spurs fans are laughing at the Clippers right now because they're just like, this is what we had to deal with.
Yeah.
The load management started with that man right there. So
yeah.
Man.
But the Toronto Raptors got a title out of it.
That's he got lucky though.
Would you? All right, Thunder. Or there's been a lot of people downplaying the Thunder's win, like saying that, oh, you know, when I look back on, you know,
They're
greatest
they're not the
champions.
greatest championship.
Yeah,
winning
which
team,
there's one team that's been the greatest champion of all time, and that would, I'm saying when you say greatest, right? EST. That means that. When it comes to someone's opinion, there's only one team that's going to be that out of how many NBA champions that we've had, and a lot of the
one is that?
No, I'm not. I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer. What I'm saying is, when we say greatest, there's only one. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that you would throw the Thunder in there as being the greatest championship team of all time. I think maybe you could go to. Well, I would have to end up being one of those Lakers or Celtics squads, right? Okay, who would you say?
We've seen it in the modern day.
So would you go
2017
with
Warriors?
Oh, no. Okay.
KD, Steph, Clay, Dre, bro, who's stopping that?
It would be interesting to see.
90s Bulls.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They could have won 7
What year,
straight.
though? What year of the Bulls?
I'm saying they could have won 7 straight if Jordan wasn't out for a year, probably.
But they could have won.
They
could have won 7 straight. Well, not 7 straight. No, they wouldn't have been able to do that because of the year that he took off.
That's what I'm saying.
But they could have won 7.
That would have been 7 because they had 3 before and 3 after.
You do drive a really hard argument right there.
Well,
like, who would beat that
Steph
team?
Curry, KD, like, imagine.
In their prime.
A 73 and 9.
Yeah.
So the Bulls, right, where they were, what,
72 and 10.
72 and 10.
Golden State,
73 and 9.
Adding what, though? What they lack?
Well,
if I'm not
because
mistaken,
LeBron stopped it. LeBron stopped it.
And if I'm not mistaken, when the Bulls won those 2 or that year, they didn't go 7 games. They were closing them out like 5, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? Like making short work of their
that's just
food.
extra details that nobody.
No, that matters when you're putting teams away that quick.
Let's talk about it, though.
All right, but all right, we're going to talk about it, but we do got to take a break. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. More on who could be those 2017 Golden State Warriors. We'll be right back here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Here comes the Thunder.
Tonight, it's Game 3 of 4 as the Atlanta Braves stop at Citi Field to play the New York Mets.
All Bees with a bullet out towards left field. There's a base hit.
And we've got coverage coming up at 6. First pitch is 6:10 right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Possible thunderstorms and some sun the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour out of the west-southwest, and look for it to be 91. Tonight, there will be a mixture of partly cloudy skies and possible thunderstorms with a temperature reaching 78. Numerous thunderstorms and light sprinkles tomorrow with a high of 87. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking for a portable building? See Bestway Portable Buildings. They have a variety of sizes to choose from and price ranges to fit your budget. Special reminder, mark your calendars for June 28th and 29th from 9 to 3. It's a multi-family yard sale at Bestway Portable Buildings. The best in portable, period. Just north of the Old Mall, Highway 231 in Panama City. And online at bestwayportablebuildings.com.
A Golden Age builder.
Hi folks, it's Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Did you know that we have a master jeweler right here in the store? That's right, she has over 20 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within a week, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into a new setting and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 50 years.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. Eat, sleep, game. This is your sports obsession. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
But the 73-9 team had KD as well, though.
No.
They didn't have KD?
That's why everybody hated KD for it, because it's like you just added yourself to a 73-9 team.
Oh, my goodness. KD, man. My goodness gracious. That guy, he's had it made.
He hasn't won without a 73-9 team.
Very true, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means he'll play even harder against those 95-96 Bulls.
Hey, there you go. So it would be the 95-96. So which Warriors team are we? We got to be putting the one with KD then,
yeah,
there, right?
But they won back-to-back, so.
Yeah, so that would be 2016 through 2018.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, all right. So versus...
And people argue that 2018 LeBron was the best LeBron, and they swept that 2018 LeBron. So.
Ooh, interesting. 95-96 Bulls. So we'll go through the AI... review here. This is kind of breaking down 26, but I need to change it real quick because I'm gonna have to. I'll just wait till I ask you guys questions. Caveman Rick, what's your first thoughts here? 95-96 Bulls, 2015-2016, or no? What we're doing the 2016 to 20. Yeah. All right. So what's some of your thoughts there between those two teams?
I mean, like I said, arguably, I would take the Bulls probably over the Golden State team. I mean, the Bulls teams back then had the opportunity to win 7 straight. They were the last, I guess, real dynasty we've had in the major sports because they won 3-3. Nobody else has won 3 in a row in any sport since mid-90s. Since then, yes.
Yeah.
Sound about right. So, yeah. I mean, last great dynasty, or last dynasty technically there's been. You could look up and down the roster at a lot of the guys that were on those teams, a lot of Hall of Famers on there, a lot of guys with a lot of rings. And I think it was tougher back then. I mean, it was a lot more physical of a game. So, yeah.
Service in Tallahassee has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County in Florida, Northern Gulf County in Florida, Northeastern Bay County in Florida, Calhoun County in Florida, Northwestern Gadsden County in Big Bend, Florida, Western Liberty County in Big Bend, Florida, Southwestern Decatur County in southwestern Georgia, Southern Seminole County in southwestern Georgia, until 7:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 5:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 4:50 p.m. Central Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Chattahoochee to 15 miles east of Thornhill Creek, moving west at 20 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Source, radar indicated. Intact, expects damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Bluntstown, Mariana, Stonehill Creek, Chattahoochee, Orange, Wewanishka, Sneeds, Bristol, Cottondale, Grand Ridge, Greenwood, Alpha, Alfred, Campbellton, Bascom, Rock Bluff, Hunteville, Clarksville, Vilas, and Chipola Cutoff. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. To report severe weather, contact your nearest law enforcement agency. They will send a report to the National Weather Service office in Tallahassee. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties in Florida: Bay, Calhoun, and Gulf.
And that was a good old weather alert there. If you could put me back in program, Caveman Rick. Yes, stay careful out there. ESPN Northwest Florida keeps you up to date with the accurate forecast and active weather updates. So make sure that you're listening to our Joanna, brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, Ellis Agency Insurance, and Earthworks of Northwest Florida. All right, so we're talking about The two best NBA teams of all time, NBA champions, let's say that, but they had some pretty good teams as well. 2016-17 Warriors going up against the 95-96 Bulls. Paul Wilson had texted in, said, who is going to guard Steph? And then what rules are we playing by? 2017 rules or 1990s rules? So let's start here. What's more advantageous for the Warriors, to play in the era that they played in or to play in the hand-checking era in the 90s?
Here's my thing. I don't think it matters, because thinking about it, like, I'm just thinking of the perspective of we've seen games where they put a camera on Steph and you just follow Steph through an offensive play. Who's going to do all that running all game?
Mm-hmm.
Do the Bulls have a runner that, like, they're just going to follow Steph all game?
It might be his coach, Steve Kerr.
Exactly, right? And then once you do get on him, if he just pulls up from, half court and swishes it like we've seen him do, then what?
Because he's going to get hand checked, and you know what? He's going to get hurt, and he's not going to have be able to make those plays because he's going to be beat up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be tough to get out there when it's like in boxing, man. Body blows early in the rounds, don't pay off right away, right? But later in the rounds, 9, 10, 11, championship rounds, 12th round, those body blows, they pay off big time later on in a fight.
You act like these players have not been hit before. Like,
they haven't been. Some of these guys are soft.
But we've seen this game evolve. Like, people, it makes me laugh so much. Like, a guy like Rasheed Wallace, right? He would talk about how LeBron wouldn't make it back in our era. LeBron was playing when you were still playing. Yeah, so I'm like, what are you talking about? So I'm just like, a lot of these players, like Kevin Durant got drafted, 2008? Like, he was playing back when, like, it was physical and all that. But yeah, I mean, yes, they're not, punching each other these days, or not like, Bill Laimbeer clotheslining people and all that, but that's not, I mean, even if that does happen, I just have so much faith in the fact that they're just better quality athletes. KD will shoot lights out. I don't know who you're going to have. Jordan. Yes, Jordan can shoot. He
wasn't the greatest three-point shooter.
Exactly, right? But I swear, the Warriors wouldn't even have to go into the paint.
They would just shoot. I mean, well, because you got KD,
KD, Clay, and
Steph, yeah. And you don't. Well, you got Steve Kerr over there for what? Was he a part of the 90s?
Like Horace Grant, Tony.
Yeah,
Kukoc,
Steve Kerr was there.
Kukoc.
Yeah, you got Kukoc.
Who else was on that team?
That could shoot threes, though. I think that was your list.
I'd say the Warriors would just win by just out shooting the Bulls. They don't even have to go into the paint. Draymond would just be there just to set screens. That's all he got to do.
I think the most intriguing part was what Caveman brought up, though, like Draymond versus Dennis Rodman. That would be
They're just going to get ejected.
No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the most intriguing part. Then, so Scotty versus Kevin Durant, right?
Oh, KD all day.
MJ guards Klay Thompson? I mean, or do you switch that up? Do you put MJ?
I put Draymond on MJ. Forget Rodman, put Draymond on
Okay.
MJ. All
right, that makes sense. So you got Ron Harper versus Steph. That's not, or if you go Steve Kerr, but I'd probably have Ron Harper out there. That's automatic Steph.
Steph's automatic on it. I swear, I don't care who they put on Steph. I'm not even a Steph fan. Steph Curry, that year, Steph Curry?
Yeah. And when I'm looking at some of the numbers, like between the two teams here, statistically speaking, so 3 points attempted for the 95-96 Bulls was 1,349. For the Warriors, it was 2,562. They shot at 38%, whereas the Bulls shot at 40%.
Yeah, because they shot less.
I'll give you that. 2-point percentage was 49% for the Bulls, and for the Warriors, it was 55%, closer to 56%.
They're just going to outscore them. You're talking about physicality, this, physicality, that. They're not putting up the numbers that these guys today are putting up. We've seen some games be like 150 to 155. Like, when I tell you.
Because they don't play defense.
Ooh, the rebounds are like 15 away from each other. The assists are very close. 400 more for the Warriors. Steals, very close as well. 785 for the Warriors, 745 for the Bulls. Blocks are well in favor of the Warriors at 555.
They're just statistically better than this Bulls team.
I mean, when you're looking at it, and when you add in Kevin Durant, listen, I've always been, I can sit here and say whoever my favorite player or my GOAT is or whatever. But again, I want to look at things that, you know, from try my hardest to be non-biased. And one of those issues is going to be that, as much as I'd like to say it'd be the Bulls, but this would be a lot closer than what anyone would want to give it credit for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, yes, because it is, I agree with Banji in the sense that it's just wild because back when the guys were a little bit slower and they didn't really have the cohesion of the players union yet back in those 90s as what they do now. There's a reason why these guys, load management, everything, it all comes down to the dog. We're going to continue this. I'm going to come up with some questions for next week. So we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about this next week, next Wednesday. Then we're going to talk about what would we like to see more. LeBron in Mike's era, it kind of pertains to this, or Mike in LeBron's era. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. That's going to do it for Banji Bombadella. Banji, thanks so much for your time. As always, lots of fun. Coming up next, we're going to dive into some NFL win totals. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show. 10 years from now, when we look back, it's probably going to be Tyrese Halliburton. We'll remember, because of the injury, how they had played. They forced a Game 7. OKC was the best team, but I think what the Pacers did created more headline conversation than what Oklahoma City did.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For tonight, a likelihood of thunderstorms and partly cloudy skies and a low of 79 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. Possible thunderstorms and some clouds tomorrow morning, a light breeze and hot near 87. Likely thunderstorms and very light showers and 88 in the afternoon and evening. 85 and very light rain and likely thunderstorms Friday. This is your Wednesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Every game matters, so don't miss a moment this summer as the Braves try to battle back in the standings.
Acuna swings, gets into it, deep center, to the wall, streaking out of here. Two-run home run, Ronald Acuna, first pitch.
Tonight, the division battle rolls on from Citi Field in New York as Drake Baldwin and the Braves take on Pete Alonso and the New York Mets.
Braves coverage begins at 6 after the Afternoon Underdogs. First pitch 6:10. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. From Tyndall Air Force Base to the Hathaway Bridge. We're live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. It's David Hayes and Caveman Rick. We're going to be talking NFL win totals right here. If you have a team that you want us to go over their win totals, text that into us at the Red 7Ts phone line, 850-215-6290. Also, go support them by checking out red7ts.com. They are the brand that brands you. If anyone from Red 7Ts is listening, thank you guys for advertising with us. Also, how sweet would it look if I was wearing like a Red 7Ts t-shirt that said Afternoon Underdogs or something? So if y'all want to put something together, we'll advertise for you live on the air by wearing your shirts as well. Just give me some ESPN gear. Hey, how about Scorpion TV? They offer premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment, and news networks. They also have thousands of movies on demand, but that's not why you should get it. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. You need to get it for all the sports that you can watch. ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone, even pay-per-view events. All you got to do is go to ESPNPC.com. It's only $45.08 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Head on over to ESPNPC.com and click on that Scorpion TV logo. Caveman Rick, Braves and Phillies going at it this weekend, but right now you're a Braves fan, aren't you? Kind of rooting for the Braves to continue to pummel the Mets a little bit?
Nah, I don't care.
Okay, he doesn't care.
Ultimately, if you guys win, you guys get closer to us. If you guys beat the Mets, you give us a little distance. I don't care. We just need to handle our business, win our games, and win our series. Yeah, when we do that, we don't have to worry about either one of y'all.
Philly's doing this, by the way, without, I know you know this, but Bryce Harper. Yep. So been an impressive run for them as well. But Braves baseball tonight, coverage starting after the Afternoon Underdogs at 6 o'clock. First pitch at 6:10 p.m. Didier Fuentes, 20-year-old, on the bump for the Braves. Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida is brought to you locally by Best Way Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and Brock Pest Control. I want to remind you guys we'll save that for later. Chris Golland, though, coming up next. He'll be talking some baseball with us. And then at 5:40, we're going to talk a little baseball, trying to take a look at the second half. I've got 10 teams we're going to look at and see if they will rise or fall in the second half. Rise or fall in the second half. 850-215-6290 is the number to call or text this afternoon. Thank you guys for riding along with us. All right, so the Eagles are the most bet team. This is from BetMGM. But they are the most bet team from a futures perspective. Their season wins market so far has been to bet the under. This is according to BetMGM trading manager Christian Cipollini. Kansas City, the Chiefs, is seen as the least likely of the top 4 teams, which is the Bills, the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Ravens, to crack 11.5 wins. Now, last year in the 2024 regular season, we saw the under hit on 3 of the 4 teams with the highest win totals, that being Kansas City, Buffalo, and Philly, all failing to hit the over of 11.5. I believe these are the preseason totals that they're talking about, because as we get closer to the season, these totals move a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because it says that Tennessee, New England, Carolina, Denver, and New York all managed to eclipse their NFL win totals, each going over 5.5, but they did not. The Titans definitely did not go over 5.5. So I was trying to understand that. The more I read, it looked like it was from the preseason odds, because right before the season, the Titans dropped down to 2.5 wins. So they got over 2.5, but not 5.5. All right, so let's look at some of these teams. Let's look at those top dogs. Let's start with the Bills. Do the Bills, and I can bring up each individual schedule as well if you'd like, but just kind of taking ganders here. What do you think, Caveman Rick? Will we see those Buffalo Bills get over 11.5?
Let's see. So 5 losses from hit the over. Without looking at the schedule right off the rip, I would think because of the division, Patriots are probably, getting better. Jets, depending, they may be getting better without Aaron Rodgers and having Justin Fields there. That remains to be seen.
I've got the schedule pulled up if you want me to go over it.
That's cool. I don't think I need it to say this. I will say they'll probably go under, though, under the 11.5. Probably just under at like 11.
Okay, so 11 and that would make them 11-6.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a little bit tougher because you do think that the AFC East is going to be it really depends on Miami.
The AFC just in general is going to be tougher, too.
Yeah. The Patriots, I believe, are going to be better. I don't think that's much of a question or a discussion that the Patriots are going to be better this year than what they were last year. The Dolphins, it depends on Tua's health. And then when we go to the Jets, I think that the Jets could be around what they were last year, and I think that on paper you can make the argument when comparing Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. I think you can make the argument that that last year's roster was better all the way around than what this year's is, but I think that they could be in around the same record that they were last year. So I'll go for the Bills. I still think they're going to run the division, but I'm going to say under at 10. 10-7 for the Bills almost seems like it doesn't feel right.
If
saying
they go 10-7, then it's a disappointing season.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that.
They can still probably win the division at 10-7, depending on how things pan out.
I agree with that as well. Moving on to, in fact, the Bills, they did bring over Bosa, right?
Yeah.
They got Bosa over there, so that helps out the defensive side of the ball. I think they let Von Miller walk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Bosa move doesn't move the needle enough for me. Talent-wise, absolutely. Again, we go back to that ability. What's the best ability? Availability, and he hasn't been the most available rusher in the league. Let's go. We'll save your team for the last of these 11.5 teams. How about the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you see them eclipsing 12?
I don't know. That's going to be a tough one, too. I mean, with what they got coming back after last season, you would probably say no, but this is the kind of team, because of what they've done, over the last, 7-8 years. It's kind of hard to count them out, too, Again, AFC, a very tough division. A lot of other teams kind of coming back, and they're kind of coming back to the pack themselves. I'm going to say under.
All right.
I'll go with the under on them as well.
Man, you talk about, I would say that this one could be possibly harder than the Bills to gauge that. Why? Because the AFC West.
Tougher division, yeah.
Tougher division, right? I mean, and I was making the argument for the AFC East to be a little bit tougher, but there's...
the Chargers are going to be better.
The Chargers, the Raiders. You got
Raiders,
Pete Carroll over there.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Chip
Bowers,
Kelly as the offensive coordinator. Brock Bowers returning.
But now, and you got Zamir White.
You bring in Geno Smith as the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, so I like what the Raiders have done.
Wide receivers room's a little thin, though. That might be their one weak spot on offense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jacoby Myers is going to be leading the pack there, but then it kind of goes Chiefs-ish, right? Where it's like you've got your top receiver,
but you don't have the quarterback there to do the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah, no, 100%. But Geno Smith isn't going to be the long-term answer for the Raiders. I think they're trying to get
He's bridge.
He's a bridge, but he's a good bridge to drive over. You know, I do like what Geno Smith did over there at Seattle, and I think that will continue for the Raiders. And so the Broncos, will they be better? That'll be tough, but you would like to think so. So all four of those teams seem to be trending in the right direction. You can make the argument that the Chiefs are trending in the wrong direction because of age, but I'm not counting those guys out. I'm going to say the Chiefs find a way to win 13 games.
Yeah. All right.
And lose 4. 13-4 is not too bad. I think because of the struggle that they had in the regular season and then losing the Super Bowl, they seem to bounce back pretty good whenever they lose that Super Bowl because they're always there some way or the other. Let's go to a team a little bit lower on the totem pole, and we'll jump back up. Let's go to The Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward leading the Titans out of Miami. What are we thinking here? 5.5 is the number for the Titans.
Well, the rest of the division, Jacksonville arguably might be better head coach probably, and maybe different philosophy. Colts kind of up in the air. You don't know how they're going to be. I guess it all depends on AR and what they do with him, if they utilize him a lot more or not. I don't know. Texans are going to be probably better after last season. So, 5.5. So all they got to do is get to 6 wins. I'll say over. I say they get to they can probably get 6 or 7 wins, I would think, with a brand new quarterback, as long as, even with the offensive line woes, Cam Ward's probably not going to play like the way Will Levis did, just throwing the ball up as he's falling flat on his face. So as long as he doesn't do that, I would think he's got to get the over.
Eric with an A texting in, he says, if you check it out on the Red 17's phone line, he said, if you check it out right now, hold on, I got to pull it back up now. But basically, he's saying the Bills are favored in every single game. They're the only team in the NFL that are favored in every single game. And we know Vegas does know how to pick them.
It is a ways away from the regular season, though. A lot can happen between now and then.
Right, and I have a strong suspicion that they're going to start out with a loss because they get the Ravens, rather, get a revenge game week 1 versus the Bills. So Mark Andrews dropped pass away from that. Now, and again, the Bills just didn't do a whole lot in the offseason to make me think. What was Josh Allen, MVP, was the reason why the Bills were anything, because a lot of us going into last year was like, the Bills are going to take a step back. This is the Dolphins' division to win.
Going back to what I've said for a long time, I hate to say it if you're a Bills fan, but one of the teams like the Lions, you got to show me. You have not done squat, in your history. You went to 4 Super Bowls short in a row, but you didn't win any of them, and that was all the way back in the early to mid 90s, so that was forever and a day ago as well. You're hanging on to Dallas Cowboy type, legacy type stuff, which isn't nothing there because at least they won. So until they actually prove to me that they can do something, I'm not going to have that much faith in that team. I'm always going to look at them as always finding a way, to kind of screw it up or just not get there,
Yeah, I'm trying to count Titans wins, losses here, and I'm just going to do it live on the air. So since we're doing the win total for the Titans, now on the Inside Jar today, Ryan asked us to do a fairy tale, and he was asking for a headline, but me and Chef Ross didn't really do it that way. So we kind of gave our ideas on what the team was going to do in a fairy tale way, and then in a reality way. My fairy tale for the Tennessee Titans is making the playoffs. That's the fairy tale, right? And then the reality is, there's 2 different realities. But reality, let's say Cam Ward is good. The reality for me is 7-9 or 7-10. 7-10, right? I think that just shows the growth in the team. And then that Cam Ward is our quarterback.
Yeah, you doubled your win total from the season before.
Yeah, you doubled it and some, just by 1. But yeah, so I think that 7 wins would be more than successful for the Titans. So here's how it starts. On the road against the Broncos, L. At the house against the Rams, I'm going to say right now, L.
Yeah.
All right. Titans hosting the Colts. Don't know what's going on with their quarterback position. Daniel Jones, they're saying good things about Daniel Jones. Something's got to be wrong there. So we're 0-2 after the Colts game, 1-2. Texans on the road. I'm going to say 1-3. Texans win that game. Cardinals on the road. I think the Titans win that, 2-3. Titans at the Raiders. I'm going to go Raiders right now. That could change when we get to the season, but that has us at 2-4. Then they host the Patriots. I'm going to say the Titans find a way to win that. All right, so 3-4. Titans at the Colts. I'll say the Colts pay them back. So that's Titans 3-5. Titans hosting the Chargers. Titans 3-6 after losing to the Chargers. Titans hosting the Texans. I'll say Titans going to win 4-6. Titans hosting Seahawks. Sam Darnold and the gang. I'm going to say Because it's at the house, early game, Titans win 5-6. Titans host the Jaguars 6-6. Titans host the Titans on the road against the Browns. I'll say win 7-6. Titans on the road taking on the 49ers. L 7-7. I'll be at this game. Titans Chiefs December 21st. I'll say you got to say L, right? 7-7. Well, hold on. No. I must have missed a game or I miscounted somewhere. Anyways, you got you host the Saints, 8 wins. Then you're on the road. I'll say 8-9 is where my record would have them, or my win-loss right here. But
that's fairy tale, yo. That's fairy tale.
I just said 7-10, not looking at the schedule.
I know.
That's fair.
I'm just, I don't see it all.
No, neither do I. I'm just going off of looking at it right now, because all of the games that we have no business being in. The only games that I gave them credit for, there's really not one. I think that's like, dude, there's no chance that they're gonna beat them. You know what I mean? Like the Jaguars, we don't know right now. The Jaguars haven't been anything to write home about. And if Cam Ward, this is what it all hinges upon. The what if of Cam Ward. The what if of Cam Ward. So if that doesn't, if he's no good, then
great though too. But if the offensive line's not protecting him, then you know what I'm saying. Who cares how great your quarterback is if he has like 1.5 seconds to throw the ball or do something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean
we've seen, but we have seen the teams who had the number 1 overall pick turn it around and do good things. Now, also, what I'd like to say is that these are not my expectations. I think that there's a reality where they could win those games. I think my expectation for the Titans is 4 to 5 wins. 4 to 5 wins is like, if you get over that, I'm not going to say successful, but okay, you did what I expected. So there's that. Hey, man, the daggum Eagles ain't going to win 14 games. How many games? Go through pull the Eagles schedule up right now. Let's go through it.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we'll do, because I've got it pulled up over here.
All right. So week 1, Eagles Cowboys.
Let's go. Start all day.
Give me Eagles on that one. Week 1. You know, I mean, we could lose it. You know, hangover or whatever. But I'm not going to give us the L against the Cowboys. All right. Week 2 against
Chiefs.
Yeah, it is. But hold on. I actually clicked off of mine, so
gotcha.
It was pulling up week 2, the Chiefs schedule. It was going down the line, so hold on.
Yeah, you got Chiefs and the Eagles. That's going to be in Kansas City, 3:25 kick. I imagine that'll have some pretty hyped coverage on it, as well as that is the Super
Eagles,
Bowl rematch.
Chiefs, the rematch, I'm going to give it to us again. I know they're going to want to come out. They're going to want to beat us to get payback or whatever. But I don't care. After that, where's the schedule at here? Why isn't it pulling mine up? Jeez, hold on.
I can just. How about we just do this? All right.
Well, it's not. Okay, so against the Rams,
yes,
I'm going to say at home against the Rams. Rams are traveling east. I'm going to say it's a win.
All right, 3-0.
Week 4, we got the Buccaneers on the road. We go down to Tampa. It's 1st of October. I'm going to say I'll just give that a loss.
Okay,
just to say we take it out. Okay,
all right.
Then Broncos come to Philly. It's a noon game. I'm going to say the Eagles win that one.
4-1.
Then week 6, we got the Giants. We got to win there. Week 7, we're going to the Vikings against J.J. McCarthy. That's a win. Rookie quarterback. Our defense will probably eat him up. Week 8, we got the Giants again. That should be a win. Let's see. Week 9, we're going against
Packers.
No. Isn't it week 10 against Packers? Week 9's our bye.
Well, y'all have a bye.
Yeah, week 9's our bye. Okay, that's what it is. Week 10, Packers. We're winning that game. We're going to make a statement in that game because of what they did about the brotherly shove, right?
Mm-hmm.
We definitely got to win that one.
Got y'all at 8-1 to this point.
Okay, so week 11, we're going against the Lions. That's at home. I'm going to say we take an L on this one.
Okay, all right.
I'll say the Lions.
It's Sunday Night Football as well for that.
Yeah, so I'll say, maybe we take an L on that one, coming off of, a bunch of big wins or whatever. Maybe let one go. Then we get the Cowboys again in Jerry World. I say we beat them there. Week 13, then we go to the Bears come to the house. Come on, we got the Bears there. Week 14.
That must be a Black Friday game because it's at 2 p.m. All right.
Let's see. Week 14, we get
Chargers on
the road. I'm going to say that's an L because we're going all the way across the country.
All right.
So I say
it is a late game if that helps at all.
Maybe so, but we'll see. I'm just saying, then we get the Raiders at home. I say that's a win against the Raiders. And then we got to play the Commanders at Washington. I say they get us on that one.
Okay.
And then we get, after that one, who is it?
Bills.
The Bills. I say we beat the Bills on the road. And then we get the Commanders again, and I say we beat the Commanders that last game.
All right, so
unless
13-4.
Unless we're sitting people.
13-4. I think that's reality. We're also talking about the team coming off the Super Bowl, and we're hoping that not just the Madden curse, but the Offensive Player of the Year curse doesn't happen for Saquon
Losing
Barkley.
our offensive coordinator again is going to be the biggest question again.
Yeah.
Okay, and navigating that, I think the team, as far as talent wise, offense, defense, all that, is good to go. If we can seamlessly transition, with the new offensive coordinator, I think we're going to be good. I think we're all right.
There you go, man. We'll be doing these win totals until we get into the NFL season. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, Chris Gollin is going to join us to talk about some of these Major League Baseball storylines.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Here comes the Thunder.
Tonight, it's Game 3 of 4 as the Atlanta Braves stop at Citi Field to play the New York Mets.
All Bees with a bullet out towards left field. There's a base hit.
And we've got coverage coming up at 6. First pitch at 6:10, right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For tonight, a likelihood of thunderstorms and partly cloudy skies and a low of 79 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. Possible thunderstorms and some clouds tomorrow morning, a light breeze and hot near 87. Likely thunderstorms and very light showers and 88 in the afternoon and evening. 85 and very light rain and likely thunderstorms Friday. This is your Wednesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Now in stock at Tommy Otto's.
2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude. Luxury at a value price. $13,995 or a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport with one owner. Sporty and affordable. $11,995 at Tommy Otto's.
Buy here, pay here. Financing options available. Everyone is approved. Tommy Otto's, 2209 West 15th Street, Panama City. 850-960-8664. For the latest deals and specials, follow Tommy Otto's on Facebook. Add tag, tax and title.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
What does it take to live an uncommon life? Here's former Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy with today's uncommon moment.
When I was a teenager, my parents let me stay out pretty late playing basketball with my friends. But that didn't happen right away. I had to earn the privilege by demonstrating that I could be trusted. They watched me closely at first, but over time, as I demonstrated that I could be trusted, they gradually increased my freedom. They understood that character begins with the little things in life. So many small things make up your character, your words, your thoughts, your actions, which help form how you instinctively respond to every situation. Don't let the small things slip. Start each day by looking for ways to show your character.
New York Times best-selling author Tony Dungy. More at CoachDungy.com. That's CoachDungy.com.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. He doesn't live paycheck to paycheck. He lives transaction to transaction. I need about $350. David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back in the doghouse, and you are tuned in to the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. Hey, you can catch the Watson Report right here on Thursdays at 4:20. The Watson Report exclusively on the Sports Talk Monster 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We've been talking basketball. We've been talking football. Now we're going to switch gears and talk some Major League Baseball with our guy Chris Garland down there in Flagler Beach. Chris, how's it holding up for you down there?
It's going quite good. Just getting ready to drive up to Atlanta Motor Speedway or Echo Park Speedway tomorrow for the NASCAR race, but still hanging out in the nice, hot, sunshiny weather here. How about you guys?
Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know, we're doing well. We've got a lot of rain over this way, a lot of weather alerts happening during the show as well. But for those of you who don't know, Chris is also the chief editor there for Motor Stardom, and he's going to be up there in Atlanta covering the race. So that is good stuff there. Who do you got your eye on pulling out a W over there in Atlanta in the Cup Series race?
My gut is telling me Austin Cindric. He's been really, really solid at Atlanta the last few times there. I think he's got what it takes to break through this time out.
I love it, man. Well, one guy you've been high on, and as the rest of anyone who's a fan of baseball, is Cal Raleigh. Is it time for him to be getting some discussion for MVP amongst the likes of Aaron Judge and Jose Ramirez?
I mean, no. But that's no. I say that, but that's the short answer. But the longer answer is that Cal Raleigh is having the kind of season that should win an MVP in virtually any year. The stats are still very heavily in Judge's favor, but as we all know, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. Injuries can happen at any point, and that makes it if that were to happen, or if Judge were to just go through a prolonged slump, there's no one else in the American League that's anywhere near Cal Raleigh for second. So at the moment, I think if Judge just keeps it relatively on cruise control, he's got the thing locked up. But it's almost you got to kind of feel bad for Raleigh that he has to compete against Judge for this thing, because the season he's having would be an MVP in many, many, many more seasons than it wouldn't be.
So it looks like he's going to have to settle for a silver slugger there out of the catcher position then, huh?
At the moment, yeah, but never say never.
Yeah, you're right, though. I mean, when I'm looking here at Baseball Reference and just checking out the leaderboard, and, yeah, I mean, it's Judge, Ohtani, Judge. And then you get to home runs, and you see Cal Raleigh there with the RBIs and the home runs, and that's good, but at the end of the day, there is a lot of numbers there in the favor of Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge is only 4 home runs behind Cal Raleigh right now at 28. But, it's just so much fun seeing a catcher do this. We haven't seen a hitting performance, a batting performance from a guy that plays behind the plate since Johnny Bench did
Piazza.
This. Well, yeah, Piazza, but he wasn't having this type of a year. Would you take? Let's ask Chris that. Would you rather have Mike Piazza or Cal Raleigh?
Prime Mike Piazza?
Yeah. Versus this year, Cal Raleigh, though.
I don't know that there has ever been a catcher in history I would take over this year, Cal Raleigh. He just set the all-time record for home runs by a catcher before the All-Star break. I mean, the dude, so Mike Piazza's 162-game average for his career is 36 home runs in a season. Cal Raleigh has 32 in 77 games. So, I mean, obviously Cal Raleigh's not going to most likely be like this for his entire career. So I'm not predicting we say he winds up better than Mike Piazza one day, but I don't know that there's many catchers in history you'd want over 2025 Cal Raleigh.
That's a good point. I mean, but man, the numbers for Mike Piazza are definitely eye-popping when you're just looking at home runs and RBIs. And in a couple of the years, the average went right along with it, batting over 300. I mean, that's OBP.
Well, plus a catcher, too. You got a big responsibility calling a baseball game for a pitcher and stuff, too, So there's a lot on your shoulders, too. You're not just
but
out
both
there.
of these but that's a mute point in this
No, and I hear you. But I'm saying between like him and Judge, say, or somebody else. Non-catcher position.
No doubt. But we're talking about Piazza and Raleigh right here, and I'm just, gawking at the numbers. In 1997, 40 home runs, 124 RBIs, and hitting .362.
Yeah, I think that might be the one year I may just have to go with Piazza. Because I'm looking at that too. He put an 8.7 B WAR. That's insane. But it's super, super close between those isolated seasons. I was thinking Piazza just averages over his career versus year of Cal Raleigh. But yeah, 97 Piazza. Oh, gosh.
And he's got Piazza's got multiple seasons like that where he's hitting over 300 and he's got the plus 30 home runs. Let's go from great to not so great, but a great player. Only 26 years old, but one of the vets there on the Pirates, and not the vets, because you got Kutch over there. But what do you make of O'Neal Cruz not hustling, getting pulled from the game last night, having the correct response back to the manager DK? What do you make of the situation, and do you find it problematic that he was able to play in today's game?
No, not at all. Okay. He admitted after the game he lost count of the outs. I'll tell you this, I play softball once a week. I lose count of the outs multiple times a game. Given it's not MLB, the responsibility is so hard, but it's really not. It's not the same as if he truly just made the decision to not hustle because he doesn't take it seriously enough, to me at least. He took accountability for an honest mistake. He accepted the consequences that came with it, and he was given consequences. And I think how he reacted says more good about him than the mistake says bad. So I agree with benching him, all things considered, but I also agree with playing him the next day.
Maybe he learned from Nick Castellanos last week and didn't jabberjaw with the coach.
Yeah, there you go.
I agree 100% with Chris. I read the article about it on thescore.com, and you see the apology there, and you see the manager's statements towards him, and it just looked like, hey, I was in the wrong. I should have had my head in the game. I love the response there from O'Neal Cruz, and I think that situation went down as smoothly as it possibly could. But I do wonder about this, and you mentioned softball and forgetting the outs and stuff. I wonder how much all of the information that we daily put in our brain with our social media and our cell phone and everything, I wonder how much of a part that plays, because I know that the more information that I put in here, that's not the more information that I retain, because your short-term memory can only hold 7 things, and then your brain has to deem it important enough for it to go into your long-term memory.
Pete Carroll.
You know what?
Go ahead, man.
The best of us have brain farts.
Yeah.
It happens. It's just part of being human. And I would be feeling much differently about this if he was belligerent about it, or if he took issue to how it was handled. But he didn't. And when someone, it says a lot about someone to not make a mistake like this. Mm-hmm. I think it says even more when they do make a mistake like that and they handle it with class and integrity and grace, the way that he did.
Pete Crow Armstrong did the same thing, I believe, yesterday too, and made a gaffe where he wasn't sure about the outs, and he was slow.
It was defensively,
defensively, and he didn't throw the ball back into play to try to get the guy rounding the bases. So
the guy scored from second base on a tag and ended up with a sac fly there. Keeping it with the Pirates today. Now O'Neal Cruz did not have a hit, but he did score a run. But the focal point of the Pirates and the Brewers today was Paul Skeens and Mizorowski, the young man out of Milwaukee. What did you think, if you had time to check the box score, watch the game? What did you think of that performance today from mainly Mizorowski?
I think it was an incredible pitching duel. He was electric. He went 5 innings, real quality start, struck out 8 over 5 innings, only giving up 2 hits. He is so far living up to the hype, and I think it stood out a little more to me how not great Paul Skeens' start was. But at the same time, I'm not the slightest bit worried about him. We know what Paul Skeens is about, and it just gets me excited to see a potential Cy Young battle for years to come. This is just like day one of it. I'm equally as excited about both these pitchers as I was beforehand. I'm not reading into anything with Paul Skeens, but man, was Mizorowski great to watch in that outing.
Yeah, and another guy making his debut last night. The Mizorowski kid has been given up 3 total hits now and 1 home run on the year. He's been absolutely electric, and you've mentioned it, man. That head-to-head performance there. Not that it was the greatest today, but looking forward to that in the future because we know what Paul Skeens brings to the table, and what we're seeing from Mizorowski is the opposite of miserable. But another debut happened last night. That was Chase Burns with the Cincinnati Reds. They were taking on the New York Yankees, so it wasn't the greatest the greatest debut that you've ever seen. But what'd you think of Chase Burns last night versus the Yanks?
Rock solid. He held up well against a quite potent offense. 3 runs over 5 innings. For most pitchers in the league, you're relatively happy with that, even with them being veterans. So, relatively. So, for his first outing, that's perfect. That you never get a good read off of just one start. The sample size isn't big enough, but nothing occurred in that game that should make Reds fans nervous. There's a lot to be excited about with him. He lived up to what you could realistically expect from a 22-year-old guy making his debut against one of the best offenses in baseball. So, all signs point I think he's going to be just fine.
All right, that'll be fun watching him and the Reds on a little bit of a streak, and hopefully, what do you think happens in the game tonight? Do the Yankees get swept, or do they get one from the Reds?
No, we're not getting swept by the Reds.
All right.
Absolutely not.
A little bit more somber news. We talked about this on in the first segment this afternoon here, but there was a 22-year-old fan banned for heckling Ketel Marte, and I know you have I don't know if you have an opinion on this particular one, but you have been opinionated on the show about certain things, and I'd love to hear your opinions, mainly that the Pete Rose Hall of Fame, your breakdown of that was great. So what do you think of this situation? Where is the line? What is the line that needs to be drawn for fans in the stands? Because someone who not just sympathizes but empathizes with Ketel Marte in this situation, but how it's impossible to put a list of rules, like you can't talk to the players. Where is the line going to be drawn moving forward here for fans in MLB stadiums?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Pete Rose thing, because I think the consistency here is that some things are bigger than baseball.
Yeah.
What he said. It's not like he said, "You suck, Marte." Mm-hmm. That's part of it. That's to be expected. Good-natured heckling is part of the fun atmosphere of the park. This was not that. No one has a right to attend these games. If you go to the ballpark, you should be expected to carry yourself with a baseline level of decency and civility to everyone around you, players and fans and staff alike. And the players are human beings. They're not zoo animals. There are some things you don't have a right to go and say to someone. And First Amendment, you have a right, but you don't have a right to say it without consequences. If you're not able to meet a baseline level of respect for the people around you, no, you shouldn't be at the games. And Ketel Marte, like every other player in the league, should be able to expect an environment where they're not harassed, verbally abused like this. So that needs to be the bar. That you asked where the line is. The line is it cannot get this serious. It just can't. And so I like the precedent being set there that, hey, if you take it so far past the heckling we expect at ballparks, you're not going to be welcomed back. Let that be a warning to people who, are psychos. I don't know what else to really say about the guy that would say something like that to another person. That's a great standard to have. It's a great place to put the line. Don't put up with this. It's not all right. There's no excuse. It's basically what it boils down to.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm trying to find, I forget which article it was. I know was reading on Score and ESPN. But there was also a similar instance. Yeah, it was back in April with the Red Sox. Yeah, we talked about it on the show. That's what led to we had Chef Ross on, and that was when a Cleveland Guardians fan was yelling at Jarren Duran about a suicidal situation because Jarren Duran had attempted to take his life earlier in his life. So yeah, that's just you're right, man. I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think there's people are going to have different opinions in the sense of they want to be able to heckle, but I think you are allowed to heckle. It's just don't cross the line, don't make it personal. It seems so simple. Like if we just had a common respect for each other, we wouldn't cross those lines anyways. Right. The Mets, do they not have an answer for the Atlanta Braves losing 5 straight this year?
And before I get into that, also Jeff Santana, did you see that?
Where he swung at the fan who was wearing the Tigers and the Pirates gear at the same time?
Who's apparently also going after a situation of a parent passing away, if I gathered that correctly.
Oh, no, I did not hear about that part of the story.
Quote me, don't. So there's Dan Zangrilli, who's he's with 93.7 up in Pittsburgh. He said that the fan apparently mentioned his deceased father. So, So, and I don't condone swinging on people, but I also, I know where he was coming from in his head. So that's another incident. I mean, I feel like you gotta be thinking about with this happening now with Marte. But no, to move on to the Mets and the Braves. The Braves had their issues first half of the season, and the Mets are a phenomenal team, but they're not infallible. The Braves are smart to equip themselves best against the teams who it's most important that they beat down the stretch, and it sounds like maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're spending the most time, maybe they're studying more tape on their division, even than they ordinarily would, because if they're going to, the wins they're going to get from here on out, make it ones that count within the division, because they have a wild card to worry about, and the Mets themselves are currently they're in the wild card position. They're not winning the division, so it would be very beneficial to the Braves if they were to get hot against the Mets at a time like this.
I love it, man. We got hot against them last week and then gave 2 to the Fish over the week, or the Fish took 2 over the weekend. So let's just hope that things move in the right direction. All right, trade deadline. These teams, are they trending towards buying, selling, or holding? Since we just talked about the Braves, we'll save them for last. The Reds, Cincinnati Reds. I saw an article, I think it was Bleacher Report, where it had them selling. I'm like, they're a few games over 500. Why would they be? So I asked Chris Gollin, are the Reds going to be trending towards buying, selling, or holding at the deadline?
With the Reds, I think they could do quite well for themselves by doing a little bit of buying. Yeah. I think realistically, I foresee them maybe targeting someone like a Kyle Finnegan or a Jake Bird. But I personally would love to see what they could do, maybe going after like a Tyler Anderson. I think that could be a great fit for them to maybe get back in the thick of it within the division. They're only 4.5 games behind the Cubs. And the Cubs are one of the best teams in baseball. Like, they should not be committed to selling at this point in the season unless they are aware of some really bad underlying flaw in the team that's going to prevent them from competing down the stretch. But I don't think that's the case. I want to see them make some big... I want to see them add a starter. I think we're more likely to see them add some bullpen help.
Ooh, okay, I like that. The other team, or one of the other teams, being the Texas Rangers, we've seen DeGrom start making strides great strides in the right direction. Kumar Rocker, the offense starting to pick it up. What do you think about the Rangers? Are they buyers, sellers, or are they going to be holding at the deadline?
The Rangers are a really interesting case. I think a little of both is what would be best for them. If you kind of like a restructuring of the team more than strictly buying or strictly selling or even holding. I think if you can get a good return for Jacob deGrom, I honestly think you need to do that. If you want to be able to stay competitive for, like, in free agent hunts over the next few seasons, they have to do something about their payroll. While it has been amazing to see DeGrom back and dealing the way he has, I'm certainly not at the point yet where I trust he's going to be staying healthy for the duration of this contract. He's always been an injury-plagued guy, but his value on this contract is as high right now as it's ever going to be. So I think there's something to be said about maybe shopping.
Service in Tallahassee has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Geneva County in southeastern Alabama, southwestern Houston County in southeastern Alabama, western Jackson County in Florida, northwestern Bay County in Florida, Walton County in Florida, Holmes County in Florida, Washington County in Florida until 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 5:47 p.m. Central Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Cottonwood to 12 miles north of Lynn Haven, moving west at 15 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, expects damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Cottonwood, Vernon, Defuniak Springs, Bonifay, Geneva, Chipley, Graceville, Norton, Hartford, Taylor, Slocum, Sampson, Eglin Air Force Base, Bradford, Union, Liberty, Live Oak, Freeport, Malvern, and Rehoboth. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. To report severe weather, contact your nearest law enforcement agency. They will send a report to the National Weather Service office in Tallahassee. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties in Florida: Bay, Holmes, Walton, and Washington.
All right, we are going to go ahead and head to a break. Your Braves are going to be coming up here in about 10 minutes, so keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
Celebrating 2 years of broadcasting history.
I told you this would work.
It's the Best of Bay awarded Inside Drive on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Weekdays 11 to 1 with Ryan Mulvey.
I love it.
Covering the biggest stories, breaking news, the latest trades, and taking your calls. The Inside Drive is live and local middays from the Gulf Plus studios.
Happy anniversary.
Becky was on roids.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay-down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Every game matters, so don't miss a moment this summer as the Braves try to battle back in the standings.
Acuna swings, gets into it, deep center, to the wall, streaking out of here. Two-run home run, Ronald Acuna, first pitch.
Tonight, the division battle rolls on from Citi Field in New York as Drake Baldwin and the Braves take on Pete Alonso and the New York Mets.
Braves coverage begins at 6 after the Afternoon Underdogs. First pitch 6:10. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's one of the best things for your immune system? Let's see. Hi, Doug Chamberlain with the Samaritan Ministries Family Health Checkup. Considering the season we're in, the best way to avoid getting sick is a healthy diet, exercise, and good hygiene. But another tool for your arsenal is loading up on vitamin C. It has many proven benefits like lowering blood pressure, reducing arthritis pain, and easing allergies and asthma. But as it relates to cold and flu symptoms, it's effective at boosting the immune system. And according to studies, increased dosages taken periodically throughout the day, whether in natural foods or by supplements, can actually shorten the duration of a cold. So when you feel cold symptoms coming on, or to get ahead of them, grab some vitamin C and take an effective step to staying healthy. For more, visit us on Facebook or at familyhealthcheckup.org.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
When you've completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse. The EASs have been throwing us off a little bit, but we always want you to be weather aware, so that's why you can make sure that you listen here to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on us for the most recent weather. Brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, Ellis Agency Insurance, and Earthworks of Northwest Florida's Mondays at 5:20, the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 on the dial. David Hayes and Caveman Rick here. We've got just 3 minutes left. I got to tell you about Hiller Plumbing. Call the Happy Face Truck today, 850-495-7822, or visit their website, happyhiller.com. Caveman Rick, we're getting ready for the NBA draft here. Is there any player that intrigues you outside of Cooper Flagg? Does Cooper Flagg even intrigue you?
I don't know. Like these kids nowadays with these one and done, it's really hard, I think, to gauge, like, you know, what these players are going to do. I mean, 1 year at a school, usually it's at a better school that has like a good program. They have a lot of success. They have a lot of good players around them, so it's easy, I guess, to maybe play well or to look good. And then you get out and you go, you know, into the NBA, and then you go to probably a team that obviously isn't so great. That's why they're getting the first overall pick. And then a lot of adversity. So it's a head scratcher, man. I liked it better when these guys were at school longer. It gave you a better gauge of what kind of talent you were going to have coming out of school.
I think I agree with that, and not even that it just gave you a better gauge of what you're going to get, even though I do agree with that, but it also let us get familiar with the players.
And they're also more mature, and they can handle the league probably better. The bodies are, you know, more filled out, mentally better, like more, you know, grown up.
I mean, it is exciting, don't get me wrong. I just think that one and done should be, like, Cooper Flagg is someone who can be one and done. Yeah, I think that he's got what it takes right now. But think about if we just got 2 years of Cooper Flagg.
That's what they should do.
We all know, and we know even more, which I guess, really, he doesn't need any more eyes on him. He proved it even before he was playing with Duke. He was playing with NBA players there during the summer, and they knew how good he was. So we'll see how that pans out. But there should not, really, outside of like the number one pick, if they're not international, I want to see a guy who's coming out, who's been in college for 2 to 3 years or so.
Plus these guys that are coming out, like after you go past the first like handful of guys, like 4 or 5 players, I mean, they're like the only ones that are probably worthy of coming out after a first year. And everybody else is like, you know, need to be there longer. But unfortunately, we don't see that. And a lot of guys just come out too soon.
Yes, sir. What time do you have over there? Is it about to be 5:57?
47. Yeah,
okay.
So we got about a minute to go.
All right. Well, man, thank you guys so much for joining us again this afternoon. Tomorrow, Caveman Rick will be back with me. We'll have Alan Watson on at 4:20. Lord willing, I know he's very busy over there at Golf Plus. Make sure you go support him over there. I'll try to get Sam Peebles on with us, and we'll find someone else out of the blue. If you've got anyone that you would like us to interview, tomorrow is a perfect opportunity. Oh, if you want to come hang out with me and Caveman Rick, shoot, if you could talk sports, also let us know at the Red 17's phone line, 850-215-6290. For Caveman Rick, I'm David Hayes. This was the Afternoon Underdogs. Hey, I'm going to Most Excellent Way off of Grace Avenue. Y'all come meet me over there. Service starts at 6:15. Jesus loves you, so do I. Y'all have a great evening. Be safe out there. Love you.
on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.